Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly review of my M1 Finance dividend portfolio. Balance on the account is $228,041.18. Let's look at the performance for the past week. It was a red week, no surprise. I think we all went through a lot this week with the market severely dipping. So portfolio was down $2,214.95 or 0.96%. I have three holdings. The first is VU or the S&P 500. That was down 1.47% or $2,312.24. SCHD was the only green this week. It was up barely at 0.25% or $175.16. And then QQQM just completely tumbled. It was down 2.33% or $77.87. So let's go ahead and look at the activity for the past week. So starting on March 24th, I put in $275. I got one buy, it all went to VU, and I got 0.52 shares. And then on March 28th, I put in $400. I got one buy, it all went to VU, and I got 0.78 shares. So for the week, I put in $675. But if you look at what I bought VU at on March 24th, look at the price, it was $527.47 per share. This is on March 24th. And then when I put in $400 on March 28th, the share price was $511.15. I mean, that's like a big drop. But as they say, I'm getting it as on a discount on sales. So hopefully this all pays off because you all see that I'm definitely, I'm putting in a significant amount of money every week into the portfolio. So I'm still continuing to invest. Definitely not at the amounts that probably I would have invested if it was a better market, but I'm still putting in a significant amount of money. So hopefully I'll be laughing to the bank in the future. So let's just do the recap. So for the past week, I started at $237,766.83. I put in $675 and then had a market loss of $3,400.65. So not a good performance, but it is what it is. Also wanted to just talk through the Q1 dividend payout for QQQM. You might have noticed that it did get paid out on March 28th in the amount of $5.36. Now for QQQM, I receive a lower dividend amount because I don't have that much money invested in it. But let's just take a look and see what I do have. So QQQM, I have, as you can see here, 16 shares, 16.88 shares at an average price of $204.42. Right now it's trading at 193.08. This is why I'm like down in it. So I'm actually in the red on this position, but given the low total cost that I own in it, which is, you see here the cost, $3,451.35. And then the value, let me just go back. Yep. And then you see the value here, the $3,259.88. So if you look at what it cost me versus what it's actually worth, you'll see that I'm down in the negatives, like I mentioned before. But this is why that Q1 dividend is $5.36. So I like to show this just, especially when I watch other people's videos and they show their dividend payouts. To me, it would be helpful if they also show like, well, how many shares do you actually own in that particular position? What was your average share price, etc. So just in the spirit of transparency, just showing this to you here. Now, again, as I've mentioned before in other videos, yes, QQQM, not sure how long she will be in my portfolio. She is not doing well. So my initial thought is I'm going to write out 2025 with her. And when she goes back into the green, I might just offload her. But we'll see what happens. I'm a little bit more okay with keeping this position because if we just look at my total position, as you see here, it's just 1.4% of it. So it's not a large dollar amount, but obviously I don't want it also dragging down my portfolio that I barely have any gains on. And on that note, let's go ahead and look at the funding. So to date, for the year 2025, I put in $29,000 based off my balance. You wouldn't be able to tell that, but I've put in $29,000. It's just been taken away by the market. Alrighty, and then let's look at the hold-in. So the portfolio is barely up at 6.81% or $14,536.04. I definitely think this portfolio is going to go into the negative. So at this point, for 2025, I'm not even expecting any returns. I think I'm going to end the year definitely in the negatives. VU, 100% for sure, I think. Like, it's barely up at 5.17% or $7,591.17. I mean, literally, next week just needs to have two negative 2% days. And this portfolio is in the negative from a VU perspective. And I think I am almost there. So definitely expecting this position to go red. And then SCHD right now is up 11.31% or $7,136.34. SCHD is probably the only position that I think might end green. I think it will be barely end. I'm like talking like 1% green by the end of the year, but it might be the only one where there's a green. And then QQQM, I think, will just continue to plummet. So QQQM is down 5.55% or $191.47. So definitely not good numbers for this portfolio. Definitely not for the size of this portfolio. But at this point, I'm just like, whatever. Like, I can't, like, it is just what it is. I'm just expecting it to completely crash. If I can end the year and still have at least $200,000 in it, I will call that a success, but I wouldn't be shocked if it goes below 200,000 by the end of the year as well. And as you see here, if you just kind of look at upcoming deposits or cash, there's the dividend of $5.36 for QQQM that I reviewed with you. Right now, I don't have an extra. So my M1 Finance, it has to be at least $25 to trade. And I don't have $20 to put into the account right now to trigger a trade based off the dividend. So it's not every week that I'm just flush with cash and I can just put in a large amount or just any amount at all. I think, yes, ultimately, I'll most likely be able to find $20 to put in there at some point later in the week or later next week. But right now, as of today's date, I don't have it. So this is why that dividend will just stay there until I add at least $20 to it. All right, so that was the update for this week. A little somber, but I've accepted that, again, most likely this portfolio will just completely crash and go into the red for 2025. So really count in 2025 as a loss. And that's where I am. I'll continue to keep you updated every week. So you see the good, you see the bad, you see all the in-betweens, because I do believe in transparency. So I'm not just going to post videos when my portfolio is doing well or when I have big deposits. I'm going to show you the entire journey. All right, that's all the updates for this week, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.